You wouldn't think a star as squeaky clean as Weird Al Yankovic would have anything to hide. And you're absolutely right. But since there's nothing scandalous about his career, Weird Al has avoided the harsh scrutiny of the media spotlight, meaning there are plenty of shocking facts about the musician you may not have heard until now.
And every weekend at the Renaissance Fair, got my name on my underwear.
Here's a look at the untold truth of Weird Al Yankovic. No relation. Given the shared last name and a mutual gift for the accordion, it'd be reasonable for anyone to presume that Weird Al Yankovic and America's polka king Frankie Yankovic are related. But while they are friends, they aren't actually family.
Frankie, there's been a British invasion. There's been a disco invasion. Do you think the country's ready for a polka invasion?
I think it's way overdue, Al, I'll be honest with you.
Weird Al explained in an interview that he's had a lot of trouble getting people to believe it. Sometimes after explaining to a reporter for the third time that Frankie wasn't my dad, I would read the article and it would say, "There's obviously a rift in the Yankovic family. Al won't even admit that Frankie's his father." Academic genius. If Al's unique skill as a parodist had failed to turn into a lifetime gig, there's no question that he would have been smart enough to make his way in some other field. Al started kindergarten a year early, skipped second grade, and graduated from high school in Linwood, California at 16. He went on to attend California Polytechnic State University in San Luis Obispo, where he received his bachelor's degree in architecture. We could have had the next Frank Lloyd Wright. Instead, we got this.
Oh my, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry.
A debt to Michael. Weird Al is quick to acknowledge that he effectively owes his career to Michael Jackson, first for letting him parody Beat It as Eat It, and then letting him transform bad into fat.
He was always a great sport, had a terrific sense of humor. In fact, when we did the Fat video, that was actually Michael Jackson's subway set. That was the one that he used for his Moonwalker long-form video. So he was always very accommodating and a fan of my work.
But Jackson also helped Al by not letting him parody one of his songs. He wanted to turn Black or White into Snack All Night because, of course, that's what he'd call it, but Jackson refused. Weird Al told Rolling Stone that Jackson thought it was more of a message song, and he didn't feel as comfortable with the parody of that one. Instead, Al decided to parody a new band called Nirvana. The resulting hit, Smells Like Nirvana, legitimized Al's act as more than just a one-note Michael Jackson parody. Tofu pot pie? Not every artist has been cool with Al parodying their tunes. For example, Paul McCartney didn't want Al to turn Live and Let Die into chicken pot pie.
Paul didn't want me to do it because he's a strict vegetarian, and he didn't want a parody that condoned the consumption of animal flesh. That was the whole thing. He said, no, you can do anything else you want. You can do like tofu pot pie.
But it was Prince who was most famous for turning down Al's requests, not once, but several times. Every single time, in fact. Al told People magazine that I had a parody of Let's Go Crazy that was about the Beverly Hillbillies, and I wanted to do something funny with When Doves Cry and Kiss. For 1999, I wanted to do an infomercial where you could get anything you wanted by dialing 1-800-something-1999. Oh, what might have been. Double Jeopardy. When Al released his parody of the Greg Kihn Band's Jeopardy, the game show had been absent from the airwaves for half a decade. The series was created by Merv Griffin, and after Al performed I Lost on Jeopardy on Griffin's long-running talk show, the host gushed over the song's massive influence.
Al, what you've done for me, I can't tell you.
That's right.
With the great success, see, Jeopardy's my show. With the
That's
great
right.
success of that record, Jeopardy's coming back September of this year.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey!
Not bad for a guy who couldn't win a TV game show.
Losers, in other words.
Honorary Beach Boy. Legendary musician Brian Wilson's Sweet Insanity album abruptly disappeared from the Warner Brothers 1991 release schedule when the master tapes were supposedly stolen. Among the material lost, Let's Stick Together, featuring none other than Weird Al on accordion. Wilson didn't think the tapes being stolen was particularly a big loss. He told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that, "We thought that maybe people wouldn't like it, so we junked it." Judging by Weird Al's other Beach Boys-inspired work, that seems like a big mistake.
Don't you know you gotta flow, pancreatic juice.
Working without a net. Given how much it costs to insure actors these days, it's unlikely that we'll see a new version of Circus of the Stars anytime soon. But the former primetime staple used to be a thrilling bit of fun for viewers, particularly when the acts involved some danger.
is a seriously dangerous act. Why you?
Well, I know they originally wanted Oprah Winfrey to do it, but I guess she was busy tonight or something, and I was kind of a last-minute replacement.
Al's act certainly qualifies. He sat and occasionally even stood atop a sway pole 55 feet in the air with no safety net below him. Al revealed on his website that this was not trick photography. My manager says if he gets any more offers for me to be on Circus of the Stars, he's not going to tell me about them. Yeesh. Tragic loss. Stories don't get much sadder than the one about the death of Al's parents. On April 9, 2004, Nick and Mary Yankovic, aged 86 and 81 respectively, were found dead in their home, having accidentally succumbed to carbon monoxide poisoning after starting a fire in the fireplace with the flue closed. Al's parents were familiar to his fans, having appeared in his mockumentary The Complete Al, as well as in his episode of VH1's Behind the Music. So the news of their death was startling and saddening. No one, however, was more shocked and devastated than Al himself, who inspired more than a few tears with his thoughtful statement about his parents' life and death. He's a director. When you've done as many videos as Al has, it makes sense you'd learn a few things about the directorial process, which may be why he decided to step behind the camera in 1986. Since then, Al has directed 14 videos for himself, including Amish Paradise, White and Nerdy, and Tacky. Not to mention videos for musical acts ranging from frequent collaborator Ben Folds to Hanson. Weird Al and Hanson? Not even close to the weirdest thing Al has done.
Bantha milk, so creamy and blue. Squeeze from a space yak, it's healthy for you. Hey!
Sorry, Bub, not feeling that one. Got anything else?
Yeah, sure, here's a new one.
The number 27. Since his career began in earnest in the 80s, Al has had a habit of incorporating the number 27 into his videos, his album covers, and even his lyrics.
Doing a promotional stunt, there's a great big purple sign out front that says Andrew 27 customer will get a ball bean hammer free.
So is the number 27 significant at all, Al?
What are you doing?
This means something.
Al explained it all in an interview. I thought it was fairly obvious, but if you need me to explain it, it's the cube root of 19,683. Oh, well, that explains it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more videos like the one you just saw. And leave us a comment to let us know which Weird Al song is your favorite.